Welcome to the Geeks Attic. This is a book review of Star Wars Resistance Reborn. Star Wars Resistance Reborn was written by Rebecca Roanhorse. Now, this is her first Star Wars novel, and it's got the Journey to the Rise of Skywalker banner on it, preparing us for the last and final Skywalker saga film. So let's go into a brief summary. The Millennium Falcon holds the remnants of the Resistance. After the events of The Last Jedi, all but a handful of the Resistance have perished. The small group is hurtling through space in a desperate attempt to find a safe haven to refuel and rest. Poe Dameron has sought out his Black Squadron, who'd been preoccupied with a mission of their own, and informed them of their losses and confessed his actions. Black Squadron remains loyal to Dameron despite his failure. Having Black Squadron back into the fold is pretty good, helps build up some numbers, but it's definitely not enough. Soldiers are definitely important, but what Leia also needs is a leadership team. And it's been brought to her attention that a number of allies may have been captured by the First Order. In this novel, the mission of the Resistance is to find out where these allies could possibly be and survive. So now, let's talk about characters. Of course, we've got the popular Resistance characters left over from The Last Jedi, but so many other characters are either new or brought in from other media. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into all the characters, won't give away all the cool cameos, but I will mention two of the characters that we have been introduced to in previous material, and just one other character that we have known from the new trilogy. So up first is Rey. She's awkward, like very awkward. Although she's with the Resistance physically, mentally, she's absent. She has a really hard time expressing herself and doesn't know how to relate to anyone around her. She only really feels comfortable around Finn. Now, we don't get a lot of action with Rey in this novel, and I'm not sure how to interpret her as a character. I get the feeling that maybe the author wasn't really given the freedom to fully dive into the character details. Rey is very confused, and maybe even conflicted, and I think we're going to find out a lot more about her in The Rise of Skywalker. At least we better. Up next is Shriv Sergave. He's a Duros, an alien with a big head, blue skin, and bulbous red eyes. He's making his return to the canon material. He was a character in the video game Battlefront 2. He worked alongside Iden Versio in Inferno Squad for the Republic. Now, he's got a fun sense of humor, the go-to character for comic relief. His presence is a welcome one. Now, I hope we get to see more of him in future novels, or possibly even a cameo in The Rise of Skywalker. And finally, making his return, Wedge Antilles. He's retired from the military lifestyle, living in the Outer Rim, just living his life. He'd done so much for the Rebel Alliance and the New Republic, fighting in all the major battles and doing what most of his peers didn't do, survive. But now he's an old man just trying to live his life in peace with his wife. However, he does have a bug-out bag packed and ready to go just in case he's ever needed. Now, after the First Order decimated the New Republic and nearly wiped out the Resistance, Wedge is hesitant, but willing to jump back into the fray. And now for my overall thoughts. This book was pretty darn good. Rebecca Roanhorse writes a hopeful tale filled with nostalgia, connectivity, and thrills. In my opinion, this book reminded me of how it felt reading the old original Star Wars Expanded Universe. By that, I mean that this story is so connected to the overall canon. The return of many characters from across different mediums was so awesome. Roanhorse brings in the things from comics, video games, the original film trilogy, and other novels. While the story is fun and the plot thrilling, the dialogue is mostly fair. Some of the characters were written spot on, some not so much. Now, I believe that may be a result of an upcoming film involving these characters. The humor from Shriv was excellent. It was organic, but many of the other comic lines from other characters came across a little forced and just a little too silly, not funny. But, of course, that could just be me and my personality. But my only real complaint with this book would be the usage of the so-called social justice quota. Now, the sexual orientation of a side character is unimportant and irrelevant to the overall story or to the character in general. So please stop with the forced, what could we call it, the millennial emotional equality checklist, and tell the story naturally. Now, this is a great novel. Rebecca Roanhorse nailed it. I'd say this is definitely a book the Star Wars fans have been wanting. So do I recommend that you pick up and read Star Wars Resistance Reborn? Yes, it does a great job of bringing in a whole bunch of other material throughout the Star Wars canon together into one novel, preparing us for The Rise of Skywalker. As for the rating, I will give this book an A. If you would like to purchase this title, I provided a link down in the description box below. And that's going to do it for this video. Check me out at thegeeksaddict.com and find me across all social media at The Geeks Attic. Have a good one.